Hey guys, this is 10-2. We are starting 10-2 and we're doing 10-2 notes before we do 10-1 notes. This is like backwards. Plus, we just got done with chapter 7, so we're skipping a couple chapters and going to chapter 10 because I want to make sure we get this in before like people start being gone like really crazy. You guys are one of my fuller classes that I've had. Like we only have 2 gone today.
Tell Sarah to look at her DMs. I sent her a funny meme.
Okay, sure.
Sarah, look at
But
your
like
DMs,
out
girl.
of the 17 that I was supposed to have last period, I had 5. So we're doing pretty good in this class. 10 out of 12. Yeah, 5 out of some of them were quiz bowl, but there was a lot of them went home. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, all right. So
48.
doing 10-2 as the first section of chapter 10. We're gonna do law of signs today, and I'm gonna start with SOHCAHTOA. This is not what this section is about, but start with SOHCAHTOA. Put this at the top corner. Put everything else away. Go. SOHCAHTOA. When do we use SOHCAHTOA?
You know, when there's a triangle.
Where there's a triangle. What type of triangle?
Right angle.
It has to be a right triangle.
Yeah.
For right triangles. Put that at the top corner. SOHCAHTOA. We can use SOHCAHTOA, opposite adjacent, hypotenuse, all that good stuff, when we have right triangles. But what happens if it's not a right triangle?
Then we run away.
Law of sines and law of cosines. So I'm going to say the law of sines. This is for non-right triangles. Non-right triangles. There you go. Okay. Now, another word for non-right triangles is something called an oblique triangle. So circle that word down below. Oblique is just the saying like a non-right triangle. So either an acute or obtuse triangle. Oblique triangles. This one is an obtuse triangle. This one's an acute triangle. Okay. So there is that. This is what the law of sines says. Put this at the top of your paper. Here is the formula for the law of sines. It is sine of A over A equals sine of B over B. Okay, let's talk about what those variables mean. Like when we deal with this stuff, what do capital letters represent?
Hobbies.
The length.
Angles.
I thought the little ones were angles.
Capital letters are the angles. What about lowercase letters then?
Or the sides.
These are the sides of a triangle, right? So capital letters, lowercase letters, angle, sides, there you go. Okay, so take a look at this formula and tell us what we need to have. This formula is set up so that we have how many angles?
7. 3, 2.
How many angles are involved in this formula?
2.
2 angles and 2 sides. Okay. When we are dealing with solving stuff in triangles that has 2 angles, 2 sides, we use the law of sines. Emma, put it away.
Put it away.
Go. Put it away. Write stuff down. Come on. 2 angles, 2 sides. That is the law of sines. That's what we're doing. Okay.
So.
That's how we know we're using the law of sines. All right. Moving on. Let's solve some stuff. Ready? Law of sines deals with 2 sides, 2 angles. There you go. Let's solve some things. Example 1. Find the other angle measures and side lengths. Okay. I just start by doing these problems just by writing out capital A, capital B, capital C. Lowercase a, lowercase b, lowercase c. And we're going to write out stuff.
Oh, I hate the feeling of having to see. That's bad too.
Okay.
I can't.
All right.
I can't. Emma.
Focus.
You don't shut up. I'm not afraid.
Focus.
You step in water with your socks on.
I did that the other day.
All right. Let's list out what we know. What do we know?
B, C, and little b.
We know capital B, we know capital C, and we know lowercase b. Oh, 210, not 210 degrees. 210, okay? All right, there's something else that I can solve for right now. What can I solve for right now?
Yeah. B.
A, capital A. What's capital A? These 2 added together is 51. What's capital A?
Big.
180 minus 51. 129.
Yep.
129. Okay, would you like to solve for capital A or excuse me, lowercase a or lowercase c first?
Lowercase c. C.
You're outvoted, Emma. A. We're going to win A, okay?
That's
Now,
racist.
one other thing that you know you can use the law of sines for is when you have one grouping that you know fully. So I know both B and B. Don't. Put it back. We'll send you out. And you can come in after school. I don't care.
Just because you're
Okay.
a comic doesn't mean anything.
All right. So we know both B's. We're going to set it up. Sine of what? What would you like to start with?
24.
Mm-mm.
20.
Sine of 20 over 210 equals sine of what? We're going to do 129 over A.
This is easy.
What? Yeah. Okay. So we have our sine of A over A, sine B over B, whatever. Okay. Angles over the sides. You see what we're doing?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Now what do we do?
No.
That.
29.
Cross those zeros off.
I cross multiply and divide. Okay. So if I cross multiply, that first one is 210 sine of 129.
Whoa.
Okay. Equals
A sine 20.
A times sine of 20. Now, how do I get A by itself?
Do it.
Let's divide the sine 20 over. Divide by sine 20. Some of you guys can write that out in your head without writing out all the steps. But you want to type this into your calculator and get an answer. Do you need to be in radians or degrees?
What the heck is that?
Degrees.
Degrees. Degrees. This is A. Okay. Yep. There you go. Okay. All right. Practice typing in. 210 sine of 129. What? Go to mode.
And I'm in degrees.
You're in degrees. Most of you should be in degrees. Okay?
We're in degrees from physics, Rachel.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay. 210 sine 129. Close your parentheses after the 129 and then divide by sine of 20.
You know what I don't like?
Practice typing in it.
Physics both.
Boom.
Yeah.
Most of
A equals, what'd you get? Woo! That's a big number. 477.2. Okay? That's what A is. 477.2. That's a big number, but that's okay.
That's what I got too.
No.
Okay? 477.2. That's A. Okay, now we're going to solve for C. We're going to do exactly the same. Now, question. Hold on. Back up.
No.
Can we do the, like, A squared, B squared, C squared to find C? It's not a right triangle, so you can't do A squared, B squared, C squared. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do another law of sine. So sine of something over something. But here, question.
Let's.
Can we now,
No, we can't use A because it's rounded off.
A is rounded off. So we still want to use this one and this one, right, to solve for C, okay? So we're still going to use sine of 20 over 210. All right.
Should've gone.
You know what I'm going to ask before I even ask that. That's exciting.
I didn't know.
Sine of 20 over 210. And then we have sine of, what is it, 31? Sine 31 over C, okay? So let's try to do this one without writing all of our steps out. We would do 210 sine of 31.
C sine 20.
And then we would divide that by sine of 20, and that would give us C, right? Okay, whatever that is. What'd you get? 360.2? 16.2. I can't.
Goodness, you deaf.
Woo. Well, I'm definitely deaf right now because I have congestion.
Same girl.
316.2. Let's get rid of all of our stuff here.
Same girl.
Girl, can we not take this up today? I'm not ready.
316.2. Okay, now, before we move on,
Shut up.
ready? Check your answer. Now, you can do,
No.
you can't check your answer entirely to see if it's correct, but I can do a couple things,
Let's
okay?
see if it makes sense.
Right, see if it makes sense. So, smallest angle is 20. Is 210 the smallest side?
Yeah.
Yes, biggest angle is 129. Is 477 the biggest side? Yes. So at least check that. At least check that and see if if that makes sense, right? Okay, good?
Poop in her pants or what?
All right.
8,000.
Okay, let's do this one.
Wait, what's the ambiguous case?
Just wait, we'll get to that. I'm going to go down to example 2, and then we're going to go back up to this box right here. So we're not going to talk about the ambiguous case yet until we do example 2, okay? Good? Happy with this? Let's do this one. Given a possible triangle ABC. Okay, we know that A is 65 degrees. I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to draw a triangle, and I'm going to label some stuff. So we have A, we have B, we have C. Go to example 2, label this triangle, go.
Yes.
Wait, I didn't even draw.
Go.
it.
Draw a triangle, label him.
A,
Okay? If you need to see a picture, draw it.
Can I just put A, B, C, wherever?
Sure, that's fine. Yes,
Wait,
yes, that's
are
fine.
the big letters the angles?
Yes, the big letters are the angles, small letters are the sides.
So,
Mhm.
A
Yep.
is the one across from it. B's the one.
Right, exactly.
And
Yep.
A is
So the only thing that we know is 65 degrees for that angle, and then we know little a is 6. Where does little a go?
across from big A.
Across from big A. So little a is 6 over here. B, little b is where? across from big B, which is the bottom. They are saying solve for angle B.
You're a big B.
Solve for angle B, okay? So in this case, we don't care about C, big C and little c. We don't care about big C and little c. We are just solving for big B, okay? So if you need to list these out across from each other, we have A and B. We don't care about any of the C's because we're not solving all of them. So we have 65, we have 6, we have 7. We're solving for big B, okay? Still do the law of signs. We do have
so let's
one
just
group
go-
that we know, okay?
Sine of 65.
Got it? Over.
Over
6 equals?
6 equals sine of x over.
I'm gonna call it sine of B. You can call it X. I don't care. Sine of B over 7. Now here's the deal. We're solving for an angle. Gray, you gotta listen.
So we're gonna cross.
No, you're not
Oh, we're
listening.
gonna have to arc it.
Yes, we're gonna have to inverse or arc it,
But we're
right?
still gonna have to cross.
We're still gonna cross multiply. So we have 7 sine of 65 equals 6 times sine of B. Okay. Now what do we do first?
First we're gonna divide by that 6.
Divide that 6 over. Okay. So we're gonna get a number over here, and that's equal to sine of B. Okay. So first of all, do that number.
Sine 65 divided by
Sure.
6.
Do this value first, though.
No,
Figure out what that
I
is.
don't know.
You want to do it all at one shot. That's fine. That's fine.
Mr. Muth says do it all at once. He
Sure.
says do it
Sure.
all.
And I understand why he says that, and I'll show you why here in a second.
Yeah.
65
Rounding.
divided by, because rounding. Okay.
Wait, so I take
So
the
I got
I
1.06.
take the arcsine of what?
Me too.
Yeah. Call me. Do I just type in that regular thing
No,
and then arcsine it as
Yeah.
the answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
Ah.
I got
Ah.
it.
Error. Shoot.
Did you just call me dumb?
Dang it.
No, I was calling her dumb.
Dang it.
I
Dang
wasn't
it.
calling you dumb,
Dang
but
it. This is not doing what I want it to do. 106.
I'm just kidding.
1.06.
You were gone. I guess what was in her
Okay.
head.
Now, here's the deal. Listen to this.
I said what was in her head.
Mr. Muth tells you to type it all in at one shot and do inverse sine of that whole thing because of rounding errors, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Now, what I will tell you is that you can type
You have
this
to do
in
parentheses,
first.
though.
Well, you can type this in first if you want, but you guys have a really fancy button in your calculator that you can type in inverse sine and you can hit that answer button and it will use the unrounded version. So you don't have to do inverse sine of that chunk. You can do this chunk and then do inverse sine of the answer, but you don't want to retype this 1.06 because it's not exactly 1.06. It's 1.057359085 and then it keeps going.
All right, let's
Right?
take a break. now.
Okay,
We're done.
but what we did was we got an error for B, okay, which means that we have something wrong with this triangle because, yeah, we have some weird things going on. We have some weird things going on,
That's really mean.
okay? And this can happen sometimes. Like sometimes you have triangles that don't necessarily always fit together, right? Like in geometry, we learned at one point, like if you have sides that are, let's just use the sides that are 6 and 7, right? Let's
Yeah.
say we have sides that are 6 and 7 and
5. No, we don't. Yeah,
what?
5.
5?
2.
Mm,
Yes.
let's say 6, 7 and what?
8.2. 8.2.
Why 5.2?
Because I like that number.
No, because 5.2 works, and
Look at my-
that's I want something that's not going to work.
45.
What's wrong with it?
53. 21. You're 21.
You see this?
Let's go.
She's not
It's
listening.
broke.
Kills her broke.
Do you see the screen?
Let's go 15. Let's go 15.
Dude, I didn't like. I didn't.
6, 7,
Can we do
15. Right
14?
above here, do 6, 7. You want 14? Sure, we'll do 14. Okay, great. 14. We'll make Emma happy. 6, 7, 14. Put this at the top of your paper, okay? Sometimes we have things like this that happen, and we learn this in geometry class, okay? So here's what's going to happen. 6, 7, 14. Those are side lengths that I want to put together to make a triangle. But here's the deal. I'm going to put the bottom one as the bottom side, right? This is 14 right here, okay? And then I'm going to angle this 6. I'm going to put 6 right here, and I'm going to put 7 on this side.
They're not gonna match.
Woo! But the problem is when I do 6 and 7, even if I pull them all the way down and like I rotate this guy down here to make it that long and 7 right here, 6 plus 7 is only 13. So no matter how far down I pull them, they are not going to come together. So that's what's happening in this triangle is I'm getting an error because my 3 sides are not going to fit together according to what the angles are. So we have problems that are happening. Okay? We're going to study that a little bit more, but we're not going to do that today. Okay? We're not
So
going to do
what
that
do you
today.
wanna
That
do?
has to do with the ambiguous case.
You just say problem.
Yes,
Or error.
yes, error. So we're just going to say error for B, and that's all we can do. They were asking us to solve for B. B has no solution, so no solution for B, okay? That's the answer to this. Find the measure of angle B. There is no solution for angle B because we have an ambiguous case. We have a problem here, okay? Good?
Yeah, you
Yes?
put a problem on the toilet paper.
Can we not do three?
Boys golf
Cause I need to
club,
do
what
my
race
test.
he's going.
Oh, it said boys golf on the thing. I just did what they told what they had me do.
Boys golf
It is-
because
I'm probably
this
gonna
is
be the only
this is the
female
men's
there.
golf
I know.
season.
I know. Sorry.
What?
Tracy
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Last time it was only
Let's do one more problem and then I'll give you homework.
I gotta do my test. Let's not do
Yeah.
three.
Let's do one more problem.
No,
Those
this
three.
one's a long one.
No, 3 is not a long one. 3 is not a long one. Okay? Here we go. This is the triangle that they have given to us. They're wanting us to solve for B. What are you doing?
He's trying to blow.
Don't do that.
I didn't
Okay?
agree to this, did you?
Solving for B.
No,
I didn't either.
my parents do that.
Okay, let's list out what we have and what we're trying to find. We're not trying to solve for everything that we don't have. So let's do capital A, capital B, capital C. We're only finding little b. Okay. C you said was 37, got it. And that's
A is 5.
it. Little a is 5, got it. Okay.
So sign.
And little
Little
c,
is 12.
little c
I
is,
said that.
oh, little c is 12. Yeah, you're right, you're right.
C.
Little c. We're trying to find little b. Here's the problem that we run into. We're trying to find little b. If we're going to use the law of signs, we have to have capital B.
Yeah.
How do we find capital B?
Well,
You have to find A and then
You have to
subtract
find
from
the-
180.
Yeah, so we can use this group, but we have to find A, then we can
Okay.
find B, then we can find little b. So we do have to solve for everything. Crap.
7 over 12.
Sine of 37.
Sine of A over 5.
White people.
There you go. Perfect.
Sine of X
Okay.
You gotta
over
scroll.
12.
All right, so let's multiply
Multiply.
5
and get
sine 37.
12 Sine. of
And we're
12.
going to divide by 12, and that's equal to sine of A. I'm cross multiplying, dividing. Okay. And then we're going to inverse sign that. So those of you who want to type it in all at one shot,
Inverse sine.
I don't know how. Can you teach me?
Yeah.
to type it in all at one shot.
You just go
Yeah.
inverse sign in parentheses and then put 5
And then just
sine
put all the stuff.
37 parentheses again divided by 12.
You don't have to,
Yes, you do.
you have to close the parentheses on the 37.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got
And
a
then you have to
really
close it
small
again.
number.
No.
So we're not putting another set of parentheses.
I get an error otherwise.
14.5. Did you get 14.5?
Yeah, I didn't do
Type
it.
it in and show me what you get, because if you close your parentheses
I
off.
got 14.
I'm scared that when you close your parentheses off right here, Emma, like you do too many closing offs,
I did.
it's only going to do inverse sign of that and divide by
I did
12.
Parentheses, 5
You
sine,
can do
parentheses,
two,
37
Sure.
close
You
sine.
can do
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
Close parentheses and I got 14.5.
Me too.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You
What'd you get,
close it.
14.2?
Yes.
14.5222.
Okay, so let's just go 14.5.
2.
14.5. And that is degrees. So this is 14.5 degrees. And if you add them and divide, or and subtract from 180, B is 1, what? 30, 28.5.
And that makes sense given that it's the biggest.
Right. Okay?
I really
So, capital B, we know it has to be bigger than 12, right? Because it's the biggest angle, so it has to be way bigger than 12, probably, right? Okay?
No, just tell me to do it.
So, now,
Make it fun.
typically what we want to do is never use a number that we have rounded, but in this case, we cannot avoid it, right? We have to use that 128.5. No, in our law of signs, we have to use the 128.5, which is a number that we have rounded off, right? So, in this case, we have no option. We have to use that, right? Sine 37 over 12.
Go.
And
15.6.
sine of 128.5 over b, okay? So we're going to cross multiply. We're going to multiply those guys and divide by sine 37. I'm not going to write it all out. Can I do that?
Guys, tomorrow we get our water.
Multiply those, divide by sine 37. What'd you get for
I'm
b?
on the bare bottom of my clothes.
What'd you get for b?
Me too.
Capital B.
15.
Or lowercase b?
15.6.
No.
Like,
It's got to be way bigger than that.
my dad
Surely, right?
wearing his jeans and then throwing.
Did you really?
I did too.
Hey, you want to hear a
I'm
little
not
secret?
kidding.
I don't
Uh,
know.
okay.
So far.
Tommy, you want to hear a little secret?
You did sine of 128.5 times
by
divide by that.
big friends.
Yeah, that's weird. That's fine. I mean, you can do it that way if you want. 15.6? Really? 15.7 is what it rounds to?
7 is what I got.
That's odd. 15.7. I would not think that that would be that, right? Like my estimation is saying that this number is way bigger than 12.
Kelsey, how did
Right?
you get 15.7? It's 15.60.
Well, because I did 12 times 128.05.
Okay, 15.6. I would guess that number would be a lot bigger than 12 because
you're wrong.
128 is lots bigger than 37. But I guess, whatever. That's just the way that it goes.
Can we stop
Okay.
there?
So that's what B is. That's where we're going to stop. What I want you to do for homework, though,
Is 1 through 4.
Nah.
is 1 through
Because I
4.
don't understand how to do.
Is 1 through 4, and that's
But I'm
all.
done.
Me too.
Actually, wait a second. Hold on.
Me too.
TBH, I don't have
Yeah,
a pencil.
1 through 4, and that's all.
Kelsey, you little bat.
Why did you take
You stole my pencil.
Okay?
That is mine.
1 through 4. Now, listen up real quick before I stop this video. Listen. Gracie.
I was just using that.
Gracie was asking just a second ago, like on 3 and 4. Emma, listen.
She stole my pencil.
On 3 and 4, they don't have ABC labeled. You can label them however you want. So if you go like A here, B here, C here, it doesn't matter.
And it has the ring around it.
So if it helps you to label them. Okay? All right. Goodbye, people in the video.